Welcome back, guys, to Classic Guitar Rock. I'm Jeremy, and today on Albums You Should Own, this is one of my all-time favorite albums. And I think if you're a fan of classic guitar rock, this one should be at the top of the stack. Michael Schenker Group, Assault Attack. Obviously, this is my opinion, right? But I think a lot of folks share my opinion. This is the best Michael Schenker Group album. Let's talk about Michael Schenker for a bit, because we really have to understand a bit about this guy. Very mercurial, is that the word I could use? Very individualistic. I mean, he has done things throughout his career that don't seem to make sense, right? He's always done things his own way. He was originally in the Scorpions, plays on like their first 2 or 3 albums. And he's like 18, 19 years old when in like 74, he leaves the Scorpions and joins this, up until this point, they'd been kind of a hippy-dippy psychedelic group, UFO. But then once Schenker gets into UFO, by the way, UFO, if you watch my 5 live albums you should own, they were at the top of my list. Okay, UFO, completely underrated, but for my money, one of the best rock bands. And because of, you got the combination of Schenker, Phil Mogg, Pete Way, just a great band. So he's in UFO for a while. And as seems to be the case with Michael Schenker, is it anger management? I don't know if it's anger management issues. I don't know if it's personality conflicts. I don't know what it is, but he seems to not hang around long in many of the situations that he was in. So flash forward to 1980. This is right after he had left UFO. The story goes that Phil Mogg punched Schenker, and Schenker was just like, well, I'm out of here. See ya. Even as UFO was about to, the Lights Out album had come out. Strangers in the Night was coming out. They were on the precipice, right, of maybe making it big in the U.S. But Schenker leaves. He starts the Michael Schenker Group, the first Schenker album, awesome album. Cozy Powell, Gary Barden on lead vocals. It's a great album too. After the first album, which was pretty successful, great album, someone made the call, and you hear different accounts, right? Some say it was Schenker's idea. Some say it was the record company's idea. But they wanted someone with a bigger name than Gary Barden to front the group. And by the way, here's this other mercurial guy who's kind of the vocal version of Michael Schenker in a lot of ways, Graham Bonnet, who had just left Rainbow with another mercurial, if I can keep using that word, guitarist by the name of Ritchie Blackmore. So there's this common thread. We've got 3 dudes we're talking about here that apparently either are hard to get along with or get bored easily or whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but they just can't keep it together in all of these situations. Well, the record company, the powers that be, bring Graham Bonnet in to sing on Assault Attack. I have another video about Graham Bonnet. Guys, Graham Bonnet is an animal. I think had he stuck with someone over the years, he would be considered he would be up there with Dio and Halford. He blows the crap out of Ian Gillan, by the way. Let me just throw that out there. But Graham Bonnet would be mentioned in those same conversations because the guy is friggin' phenomenal. He's in his 70s now and still performing. You hear some performances that are a little iffy on YouTube, but in general, The guy still brings it. He's in his 70s and still sounds really good. Well, getting back to this album, Graham Bonnet comes on board. Cozy Powell had left and was replaced by Ted McKenna on drums. Ted McKenna, by the way, just died about a year ago. Michael Schenker still playing Temple of Rock, and the Michael Schenker's, I don't know what he calls it now. He's touring with all of four of his lead singers, right? Gary Barden, Graham Bonnet, Robin McCauley, and Doogie White. He's got some great singers, man. But they're all part of this Michael Schenker Temple of Rock reunion, whatever they're calling the tour now. If you get a chance to see it, the videos I've seen are pretty dang good. Again, Michael can still play. Michael's playing better now. The 90s were not good to Michael Schenker. If you go back and find videos of him of the 90s through the early 2000s, he's looking rough. He's not playing well. But over the last 4, 5, 6 years, sounds pretty good. Still playing pretty good. There's a lot of great videos out there. But this album, this came out in 1982. This really, I think, is the album. If you're going to only have one Michael Schenker group, you get this album. There's no reason to only have one, by the way. But if you're only going to get one, you've only got room for one record in your shelf from Michael Schenker, this is the one you want to have. Assault Attack, Rock You to the Ground, Dancer. Let me just talk about Dancer for a minute. One of the hits against Graham Bonnet. Dude writes weird songs, right? Dancer is one of them. The lyrics are really cheesy and dumb, but the song just rocks. It's a great song. Samurai, great tune. Side 2 has my all-time favorite Michael Schenker tune, Desert Song. Broken Promises, Searching for a Reason, and then the instrumental Ulcer. Graham Bonnet on this album is soup like a blowtorch, man. And in fact, there are points in the album where, and I don't know if they did this by design or whatever, but the vocal parts are on the verge of over-modulating. It sounds like there's just a little edge to them that I think sounds really cool. So like on Assault Attack and Rock You to the Ground, you really hear it. The guitar playing is phenomenal. Michael Schenker is one of these guys that can shred, right? He can play fast, dwiddly stuff, but he is one of the most melodic players you will hear. And just tasty stuff. I can't say enough about his playing. Sadly, this was the only album that Graham Bonnet appeared on. After this, and there's a whole story about this, their first show on the tour to promote this album, there was an incident. Here's the deal, guys. It all comes down to booze. Graham Bonnet and Michael Schenker both drank too much. I really think that's the problem, okay? But anyways, there's a point at this show where Graham Bonnet claims it was an accident, but he winds up exposing himself to the crowd. That's what we call a CLM. That's a career limiting move, right? He had that career limiting move, and he was very quickly invited to leave the tour. And they bring Gary Barden right back. Poor Gary, right? They kick him out to bring Graham in. Graham gets fired, and they have to bring Barden back in to sing Graham's songs on this next tour. And then Gary Barden is on the third album. And Gary Barden's great too. But this album, man, just get it, listen to it, enjoy it, cherish it, send it to your loved ones for holidays. It's a great album. Can't speak highly enough for it. So yeah, I mean, that's what I want to say. There are some crazy videos about Michael Schenker right now. He's got an ongoing dispute. It seems kind of one way. It seems like it's only Michael that's hung up on it, but he's got this ongoing dispute with his brother Rudolph, who's in the Scorpions, where he says a lot of kind of mean things about Rudolph. And I don't know the situation, whatever. I just kind of shut that out and try and not worry about that, and then just enjoy what we have from Michael Schenker. And this is the top of the heap from the Michael Schenker group. So go out and buy it right now. Thanks for watching, guys. I'd love to hear your comments. What do you think is Schenker's best album? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And we'll see you on the next Classic Guitar Rock. Bye-bye.